Options is a very unique program. We have a online, fully virtual. We have book-based, and we have academy, which is face-to-face.
We have students all over the state.
This is a fast track to where I want to be in the future, so I'm able to learn at my pace.
It's just been the right option for our family.
The family may have 4 children, and each child could be on a very prescribed, specific program for that child.
We're the perfect school concept.
Welcome back to another School Scoop. I'm Chris Trottier, and I'm here with Miss Jess Rima, the 912 principal at Options Virtual Charter. Jess, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
So Jess and I talked today, and I think for all the viewers from all over the state of Wisconsin, this is going to be a super unique opportunity because we've been bringing in amazing guests that kind of support the work you've been doing. But now we're going to hear directly from the principal, the new principal. Well, you're almost through your first year. So as they say, Jess, the honeymoon's over, almost over. Well, I want to hear about your year, your journey coming into the school. And then we'll kind of close with what can people, not only current students, but students who are considering Options Virtual Charter at the 912 level, what can they look forward to? So let's kind of just start with, give us your year in review. You walk in July 1. What does it look like? Give us a little background here.
Yeah, I look back, summer starting, I was comfortable in my 14 years in a middle school world, and coming into the high school world, I was nervous. I was excited, but also coming into a school that is not just a high school where we do virtual, we do in person. We have students in the building that are ages 4K to seniors. It was going to be and was a culture shock, a learning curve. But I'm proud to say that as nervous as I was in July to get started, that has only turned into excitement for the future.
Well, and Jess, I was thinking about this, years ago when I entered my first administrative experience. I remember my principal, Carl Brightlow, saying to me, he said, Chris, nothing prepares you to be married other than being married. Nothing prepares you to be a father other than being a father. And then he said, nothing prepares you to be a principal than being a principal. And I'm guessing that you can probably look back and say, that's pretty true. I mean, you had a really great experience at the middle school, did all the right work to be ready. But then you kind of jump in and it's like, here we go.
Those words are so very, very true. You think you think you understand the expectation and the pressure. As someone who's grown up in Elkhorn, lives in Elkhorn, and now a principal in Elkhorn, I put a little more pressure on myself to ensure that we're not just a successful school, but we're a school that's growing for our community needs. And you're right. I had great people in my life that helped develop me into the leader I am today, that are still a phone call away when I need them or I need to, run past ideas. But also it's exciting to know that I can do it. And that year 2, now we can fly a little faster, a little higher.
So let's kind of dig in a little bit to the year. You come in, your predecessor, Mrs. Stone, did a great job as a principal leading the school. You had a supportive person in your building and leader in your building, and Mrs. Spendy. Obviously, our district does a really good job of onboarding, mentoring, and coaching. So you kind of get through that first wave, kids come in. What was like, as you started to reflect on the year, what were some things that you really, where were the areas where you wanted to put your stamp? And then tell the many people on the view on our podcast right now, kind of how you went about doing that.
Yeah. Almost immediately when I learned of that I was going to be principal, I I reached out to the current staff and I asked to meet with them individually. I wanted to hear from them what the school meant to them, what they were proud of, what they took pride in as a collective group, and individually where they felt like they could personally grow and how I could support them, but also where is the untapped potential in our school. I also reached out and had meetings with people like Dan Keel, principal of Elk High School, and his counseling staff, who have been nothing but supportive and wonderful in my transition. Yourself and Mr. Tadlock, our superintendent, to find out on a greater scale, how do people see options? How can we expand our services? How can we get more people to know about us? And where are those goals going to take us? Immediately from hearing from our staff, I realized I was entering a school that not only cared deeply about one another, but they cared deeply about their school family. They also were very open to change and adapting and being flexible. And as a leader, that's inspiring to me, that they are eager to grow and learn and along with me, and not just because it's my vision, but because it's our vision.
Yeah, and that was some of your earliest work, was kind of creating that shared mission, vision, and commitments, which is really that, like, how do we all, to simplify it, how do we all get in the boat and row at the same time together, not only to get started, but to navigate some turbulent waters, because schools are messy places, right? I mean, there's a lot of great opportunity, but a lot of our challenges in society kind of fall on our front door, but also where we want to end up. What's our destination? So highlight a couple of the things that give the many people on right now. Just give them a little bit of the kind of work behind the work that you and your team did.
Yeah. So I went on a walk with one of our lead teachers, Mrs. Lena, who is our English teacher, but she's also an inspiring individual that really kind of leads the department. And we had come upon a sycamore tree. And it's this huge tree on our property. And she was telling me about how our school district office downtown and our school are two of the only places in Walworth County where sycamores still exist. And and then our county was they're endangered and we're trying to protect them. And she was telling me about options a few years ago was going through big changes. They were having a remodel. And there was one thing that those teachers were strong about, and it was do not cut down that sycamore. That strength of that tree, how it overarched the school and the playground, really signified their school family to them.
Wow.
Yeah. So we defined our sycamore. We worked together as our staff to find out what was that strength and those longstanding traditions and goals that we were going to hold ourselves to, and protect and work toward. So we came up with a new mission statement. We came up with goals, some short-term, some long-term, to really invest in our students' future now, as well as grow our staff. So we called our sycamore. Every time we make a decision, we make sure that that decision is in line with our sycamore, our mission. And it's just kind of something unique to our school. Here we are, a virtual school, and yet we're using the nature to define us. But that was some of our early work. And as well as I would say another big advancement that we did this year was bringing on Becca Kunitomo, whose role really is to develop relationships with college, universities and technical colleges across the state of Wisconsin, so that they understand who we are and how we can mutually benefit each other and help students start their college career now.
Well, and I'm guessing Becca's work, that outreach is really important. I'm guessing that her as an internal resource for families. Talk a little bit about why that was important to the Sycamore, to have somebody like her, take away, I mean, she's an amazing human and an amazing professional, but why that position, how it fit in that overarching sycamore, let's just say.
You're right. One of our goals was to increase access for all students to receive dual programming, meaning students can earn college credit, industry certification now while they're in high school. It counts for both institutions. It allows students to, start their passions and their goals while getting it paid for by the Elkhorn Area School District. However, in order to reach that goal, as our school, we needed someone that was going to be dedicated to not just building relationships with the universities and the colleges, but also building those relationships with students and families, helping them along the way, picking classes that match the pathway that they're interested in, understanding college requirements or certifications needed for future careers, really getting them through some of those difficult parts of just choosing the right school for my high school student, getting the paperwork in time, ensuring that I have the right books, also developing student, making sure that that student has someone that they can count on to be there, not just to counsel in college and career, but in how do I reach out to my professor? I'm struggling with this. Time management is a concern. Could I meet with you to discuss, better time management skills? In 1 year alone, she developed 13 unique relationships with colleges and universities across the state of Wisconsin.
That's amazing. Yeah,
we had students everywhere from our fresh coast to the Mississippi River, literally. In 1 year alone, the students under Mrs. Kunitomo accumulated 570 college credits free to them. It's unheard of. It's amazing.
That's unbelievable.
It absolutely is unbelievable.
Wow. Well, and that is like the bedrock of your work, is that post-secondary success. And I think that's what, like they're oh, look at this. We got a thumbs up from John Anzalone.
Oh, hello, Mr. Anzalone.
Oh, you gotta love that. You gotta love that.
He was my SRO when I was in high school.
Woo, man. So, I think that's such a bedrock of our school district, but how unique you're approaching this. And I'll say, I mean, for anybody looking to consider the virtual experience, recapture time, maybe you're a really high performing, dedicated athlete at GTS or Velocity or FLAC or whatever it may be, equestrian, skiing. The flexibility to open enroll and get involved or enrolled in options you don't lose any opportunities. You're just gaining these access, because if we go through it, a couple of them, like you mentioned, the relationships she's built. What are some partnerships? Just mention some 2-year, 4-year universities and colleges that you develop these connections with. Excuse me.
First and without a doubt is Gateway Technical College. Not only do they offer programming to my staff, myself, to learn about post-secondary options, affordability, and programming for students, but their desire to work with high school students to provide them an excellent, rigorous experience, hands-on, is unbelievable. Our Gateway students this year accomplished certificates in cooking, business, horticulture, as well as technical diplomas in the culinary assistant area, medical assistant, and nursing assistant.
Wow.
Students from all areas. Gateway is not only...
when you say all areas, you mean all zip codes, right?
Absolutely.
Yes, yes.
Asynchronous, synchronous, online, in person, on the job experience or lab experience, classroom, getting gen eds out of the way for your 4-year university. There is simply not a pathway or not an opportunity that any high school student wouldn't benefit from going to Gateway Technical College. Not to mention, I just want to throw this out there, people like Katie Graff, who work very hard to develop these relationships with our high school. One phone call away to help our students, to help our schools expand programming. She's amazing. Gateway's amazing. And I would be remiss to not call them out first.
Yeah. Keep going. Give us a couple more, because I know there's one in there that you're just dying to share. But
yes. You know what? We've got students from Waukesha County to Fox Valley, Black Hawk, Mid-State, Madison. But you're right. I'm dying to bring up the University of Wisconsin Green Bay. We are super excited. Actually, a week ago today, our first round of students just found out that they are accepted into the Rising Phoenix Early College High School program.
How many kids?
We've got about 10 kids to start, and there's still time. There's still some kids thinking about. There's still some kids with their applications going in.
Why should I do this?
Here's the deal. The Rising Phoenix program is designed for motivated students that want a head start in college, that are in high school. They are sophomores, current sophomores, and next year will be their junior year. And what the Rising Phoenix does, and what UW Green Bay does, above anyone else that I've worked for so far, is they actually have specific people that only work with Rising Phoenix high school students. Their passion there really is to expand access to first generation college students. And so here this is, our students going to the Rising Phoenix program, they're juniors, they follow through on this program, and they end with a 2-year Associates of Arts and Science degree and a high school diploma at the same time.
And we know this. I interrupted. I'm sorry, but I got to slide this in. We are the only district participating, per UW Green Bay Fighting Phoenix told us, that Rising Phoenix program, to make this unlimited to all kids, free of charge.
That is correct. We don't put a limit on your credits. We pay for your tuition and your books, and whoever wants to be a part of this program, you apply, we help you. Thank you, Mr. Anzalone. And you get in. And once you're in that program, you are matched with a college counselor who helps you through that program.
That's great. That's great.
A whole nother level of support that is unmatched.
Yeah, and here's the other side to this. So many of these programs, not all, but so many of these programs, and this is what I love about Becca's role, in that you talked about that match, right? That fit. Is some kids are looking for flexibility and want to be able to take these classes whenever they deem necessary. Some of these are synchronous, where you got to line up to the course. There's just so much flexibility to these opportunities. And I just think, I have a sophomore at UW Eau Claire. So, I write those checks, right? I got my 529 account. I'm pushing money in just like everybody else. We all want our kids to have that next opportunity. We want that next generation. The amount of money that families are saving through their enrollment, not only in our school district, but adding that unique level of flexibility and options, is just as Mrs. Spendy said, it's the perfect school concept, and it just appeals to such a diversity of families and students.
That's right. Last week alone, I had a student playing at a select invite-only volleyball tournament in Kansas City. I had a student in tryouts in North Carolina for a premier soccer team. And I had a student in northern Wisconsin at a large horse show for a national competition for horses. I mean, literally students who are living their passion now, going to school now, and it's all happening during the day. We make it work.
So you're telling me I could train at Flag GTS, any of these locations, in the morning. I'm not going to miss a beat academically. I'm not going to miss on my dual credit opportunities. These kids are all over the country and still taking advantage of these opportunities.
That's correct. And we kind of pride ourselves on making sure that we are being a supportive We call it team. The family, the parents, the student, and the school are really working together to ensure that students can meet their passion. One of the students I met with, she was like, my dream and goal is to play D1 athletics. I need to be training every single day. And when I'm called to these tryouts and tournaments, I need to be prepared to go. But she's also a very serious student.
Yeah.
Cares about her grades and works very hard.
And open enrolled. That's right. Non-resident. Yeah.
And so we happen to just be that perfect school concept.
There it is.
Where you can be flexible with your schedule, because we will be able to provide you that instruction and that feedback on a time frame that works for both of us.
I think the other group that really we've heard from, WCTC and Waukesha and Fox Valley Tech, were really providing access to, homeschool or learning at home families, like just creating that opportunity, because, those families want access to these dual credit opportunities. And I think what we give those families is the opportunity just to allow us to guide you to that experience and make sure that your child is still having full access and opportunity to those dual credit opportunities. So
that's right. Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I just want to say I've really enjoyed, as a brick and mortar middle school associate principal, I didn't have a lot of experience working with former homeschooled families. In this job, this was a new community that I really got engaged with and found just delightful on how we could blend, whether it was just 2 courses they wanted to take with us, or they were finding, my students a freshman now, I'm kind of maxing out how I can help them. But I've gotten them really far, and I think they're ready for your programming. As well as, I just want to say to your statement, not only do homeschool families want to take advantage of the early college programs, but they also deserve it. And we're here to kind of bridge that gap, make it very affordable, and provide access.
So the next thing, I just want to touch base just so we can get to what our future, because I think you did an incredible job, Jess, of really articulating that the foundation of that sycamore, and that's that opportunity and access. I know you added a GETO 2 program that's approved by the Department of Public Instruction. So students who, are, what is it going to be, sophomores or juniors?
17 years old. If you're 17, you're credit deficient and you're struggling with how am I going to graduate high school? A lot of students are working full time to support their families. So we've developed a program where you work with me on a portfolio of either volunteering or work, GED preparation, as well as some life skills. And you get a traditional high school diploma from the Elkhorn Area School District, even throughout that program.
That's great. That's a great opportunity. Let's talk a little bit, because I'm well aware of this, so I'm going to tee this one up. Your staff, through your leadership and support, has really embraced adding or adjusting your instructional model to utilize Canvas, which is a learning management system adopted by the UW system. Talk a little bit about what that looks like and why that was important to you this year to really get a head start on that.
Yeah. A personal passion of mine is really professional development. I love teaching teachers, and I love having that impact and seeing that trickle down to the students. And so when I was interviewing our staff, I was also reaching out to students and families and finding out, what were they seeing? What were they wanting? What did they want to be improved? And a common theme was that the software we were using was okay. And options were more than okay. And so we're going to provide a superior product than anyone else to ensure that our students have the greatest access to engaging instruction that is also rigorous. We met with a couple different companies. We ended with Canvas, and here's why. Along with Canvas, not only am I excited that the UW system uses that, so our students going into that UW system can really transition smoothly.
Yep.
It also is having an impact nationwide into universities and colleges, including businesses that are using it for training and certifications. But when I met with them, I found a desire to continue to learn and grow along with the continual needs of our students. Access to tools that we currently don't have to make reading more accessible. Whether you like to listen to something on the screen, watch it, creating more engaging content was available through this platform. So here we are. Our teachers work daily to create new courses that will be launching next year. Along with Canvas, this will allow us to have more personalized learning because we're creating our own classes. You know, we're all content passionate about our content.
Oh, yeah.
And finally, now we get to put our personal stamp on that.
Well,
Yeah.
I think about, you know, you're not losing anything. You're only gaining because you still have that asynchronous opportunity. And for those people listening, asynchronous means the student works at their own pace, accomplishes what they need to. There's support there, but only as needed. But you're now going to do like a synchronous, possibly where you can check in with kid, or you can schedule opportunities with the class. But you can also have a blended format where it's kind of like some office hours. You could push in. Canvas has a platform where you can immediately through a calendar have your, what is it called, the big blue button, I think.
That's right.
Where you can have a virtual meeting with kids. So it's just this one-stop shop for everything. I think it's the perfect piece to the perfect school concept. How'd I do on that one?
I love it. It's increasing engagement. It's increasing academic equity as well as quite frankly, it's updating our instruction. We do have competitors in the virtual world. I'll be honest about that. Sure. There are other virtual schools out there in our area and afar, but there's a few things that we do that they don't. Number one, we talked about this. We talked about how we provide dual programming, free and unlimited. We talk about how we have people hired to specifically help you through that process.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people buy their content, buy the instruction, and the teachers are simply just facilitating, making sure you're accessing it. Mm-hmm. We're going to make sure you're learning it. We're going to make sure that you're collaborating, you're talking about your learning, that you have opportunity to use your big blue button to meet with other students, work with other students, engage and have fun. It's those differences that make a huge difference in virtual learning.
Well, we know that the power of really good instruction really starts with relationships and that classroom learning community. And this allows, in a virtual setting, to create that. And I think that's just so important to have for kids to have that connectivity, not only with each other and their classmates, but also with their teacher, and to feel like they're part of something special in that classroom. All right, so let's talk a little bit. I know, like, what I love about the School Scoop is we could go on forever because you're passionate, you're engaged, you're excited, your team has a vision. So let's talk about like where we're going.
Yeah, well,
I'm excited about, Miss Rima.
What am I most excited about?
Yeah, tell us a couple things.
You know what? One thing I'm most excited about is next year I will be taking over the middle school as well.
Woo! Yeah. You heard it here on the School Scoop.
So wow. I'm really excited about developing and growing the middle school model as well, and making a seamless transition for students in the middle school world that are taking virtual school and wanting that for their high school as well. A lot of virtual schools throughout the state are disconnected. You're either elementary online, you're middle online, you're high school online. I'm very excited to create a seamless secondary transition and start to get to know those students right off the bat. Another shout out for Gateway I would like is we have students in 3 new programs to us. We have students that are going to be a part of the EMT pathway, the fire science pathway, as well as advanced manufacturing. We have 2 students in youth apprenticeships, one who is not only doing a wonderful job, but is just every time we talk to him about how it's going, he's never enjoyed school more. That is a student that is working with Esmond Electric.
A little shout out to Mike and Jody.
Yes, thank you so much for your support and the amazing experience that our student gets to have with your company. But this is hot off the presses.
Oh, here we go.
The next thing that I think is going to be huge for us is we are developing a brand new academy. It is called Next Level Scholars Academy. Your path, your passion, your next level. And really what this is we are expanding our teacher pool to teachers who have taught rigorous high-level high school courses. By that, I mean things like computer science, business and entrepreneurship, AP classes, courses that are traditionally very challenging and often not offered in the virtual world. Well, we went out, we found really good teachers that are veterans at teaching these topics. They're going to use our Canvas and partner with us so that we can develop
That's amazing.
high-tiered, rigorous courses for students that are ready, not just for virtual learning, but for really challenging coursework that is going to pay dividends for them in the end.
Well, I kind of saw some of the opportunities that are going to be offered, and we're talking AP computer science principles, AP computer science applications. Project Lead the Way and AP are combining on AP cybersecurity, business courses, AP courses, and all done through Canvas with expert teachers. It's an incredible opportunity. You know who I think about? I think about kids in schools, and that, you know, I mentioned the zip code of kids. You know, obviously we want every kid in every zip code, no matter where you live, to have full access to these opportunities. And we know that it's not always the case. Some of our rural schools just don't have either the funding, the staffing, and it's hard to find computer science teachers.
Yes, it is.
Now it's open now we've just given the state of Wisconsin full access.
That's correct.
Every kid can get access to it.
One of my missions personally as an educator is to ensure that with this virtual school, we're caring about students, we're caring about their families, and we're caring about equal access. And that means whether you're going to school in person or virtual, you deserve rigorous, high quality education with feedback from teachers that care about you as an individual, but also are going to push you and challenge you to be your very best. Some of these teachers that have agreed to be a part of the Next Level Scholars Academy are highly trained veteran teachers that have been teaching these AP courses for years and years and years. They know how to teach these courses. They know how to support students to get those high level scores, so it means something at the next level. And we're doing something no one else is. We're going to create access to you statewide to our program in the Elkhorn Area School District. It's not canned curriculum.
It's not. No.
It's real teachers that have developed this over years and are ready to support your student.
I think about the theme: opportunity, access, due credit, future readiness. I mean, it just keeps it's just, I don't know if everybody, I think, you entered virtual, you talk about the brick and mortar experience. Obviously that's what I know. I think what makes this so special, and a shout out to Mrs. Spendy, Mrs. Stone, yourself, the teachers, everybody who's been involved, it's really about creating the perfect school concept, and not only not allowing any kid to miss out by choosing a different model, they're actually gaining.
That's right.
And if I'm a school, I'm just thinking about this. If I'm a school who's struggling to find a computer science teacher, and I really want to offer computer science because I want my kids to be truly future ready. I mean, if you haven't been paying attention, not you, but anybody, I should say, if anybody's been paying attention, there's a lot of energy around Southeast Wisconsin and Milwaukee. People want to turn that into a tech hub. It's been a conversation. Microsoft is here. These are opportunities with real jobs, real money, and real careers. And this is something that students can access whenever, wherever.
That's right. The infrastructure is being built now. And so it's time for schools to respond and make sure that we're preparing students for that workforce that's going to be there in 10 years.
Yeah, it's an incredible opportunity. We got a lot of hearts and a lot of likes and a lot of people online. I don't think I've ever seen this many people online, and why wouldn't they be? We're getting to about our threshold, and I think I know we could go on for longer because of your investment in kids and transforming the experience for every kid in every zip code and creating opportunity and access. I think before we move into our closing, do you have anything else that you want to share that you're excited about, that you're looking forward to, or just even, you know what, Jess, how about some announcements?
Absolutely. First, a couple moments of gratitude for Mrs. Spendy, our director of blended learning and instruction, as well as our elementary middle principal, who has been a great mentor for me this year. As long as Chris, thank you so much for your mentorship and willingness to come along this journey with me. But I'd like to just call out to anyone watching on May 28th. At Options Virtual Charter School, 534 Sunset Drive, Elkhorn, we are holding our graduation. Students from pockets all over the state are driving down for our graduation, and we are so very excited to celebrate them and would welcome anyone who wants to show their appreciation for our students' hard work to come on down May 28th at 5 p.m. to celebrate.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. You even got some more people jumping online after you started talking about that. There's nothing better than celebrations. All right, Jess, I think we got to come up with a unique way to close. We've had some great dialogue. In fact, this may be one of my favorite parts. All right. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
Like, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? Tell me, okay, what do we got? Spring. When you think of spring, what do you think of?
Oh, soccer season starts. I'm ready.
Ooh, you went quickly. Okay. All right, soccer. What about, are you a baseball fan?
Love baseball. I love tailgating. I am not a fair weather fan, so the Brewers are my number one. Whether they have a good season or a bad season, I will only speak positively about them.
Okay, so when you watch soccer, who do you go watch? What do you get energized for?
You know what? First and foremost, I just want to shout out the Elkhorn Area School District has an amazing high school soccer program, boys and girls. No, I'm not biased, but yes, my school counselor is their head coach. So I want to shout out them. But when I go to games, I'm really excited about the U.S. women's national team. I tape every single game, watch it multiple times. Love going to Chicago. Sometimes they'll have great international games there at Soldier Field. That's unbelievable. But of course, the WUSL and the Chicago Fire are games that I also enjoy going to see.
All right. Well, what about, okay, so now I'm going to come back. I'm going to toggle back. What's your favorite item to eat at a tailgate?
Ooh.
What do you think? And I want to hear from people who are on. There's a lot of people on. Jump into your comments. Tell us your favorite thing to eat at tailgate. I want to hear it.
You know what? Because this is not something I grill a lot at the house, but I do when we tailgate. There's nothing better than can I say this on a school, whatever, it's past 3, a good beer brat.
Oh, yeah.
Grilled beer brat is probably not my number one.
Oh, bratwurst. Yeah, that's good. I'm with you. And there's nothing better for me than some sauerkraut and some
yes.
stadium sauce. Ooh, man.
Yeah,
that's
I'm a
good.
sauerkraut girl as well. I agree.
That's good. That's good. All right, Jess. We could keep going. This is usually the most enjoyable time of our show. Just kidding. The whole show is great. All right. Thank you for everything you do. I left Mr. Anzalone's quote up here. I believe it looks like Mr. Anzalone may be at a ball game there, or his tailgate, if you take a look.
All right.
But I'm going to leave that up there because, Jess, you do rock.
Thank
you.
You
care about kids. You care about staff. You're doing the right work. Keep pushing forward. Nothing but great things ahead for kids. Nothing but opportunity and access for every kid, no matter what their zip code. And because of that, I selected some special closing music just for you, Jess. It also ties to baseball. And on that note, have a good one.
Thanks, man.
See you later.